The international community has been thrown into shock after United States President Donald J. Trump publicly threatened possible military action against Nigeria, citing that he called systematic persecution of Christians in Africa's most populous nation. The statement released on Trump's social media platform Truth Social and echoed during a rally in Texas. He streaked widespread condemnation, diplomatic tension, and fears of a potential international standoff between Washington and Abuja. On November 2nd, Trump wrote, "If Nigerian government cannot stop the slaughter of Christians, the United Nations will act. Our patience has run out. The next move will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorists attack our cherished Christians." He further hinted that he had instructed the Pentagon to prepare plans for possible airstrike or troops deployment into Nigeria. The remark came after a wave of unverified reports circulated in some American conservative media outlets alleging that the hundreds of Christians had been killed in recent clashes in Plateau and Benue State, where religious violence in Nigeria remains a real concern. International observers and local analysts say Trump's framing of the issues oversimplifies a deeply complex conflict that involves ethnic, political, and economic dimensions, not just religion. Now, Nigeria. The Nigerian government rejected swiftly and angrily in a statement issued by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Abuja described Trump's remark as reckless, unfounded, and gross violation of Nigerian sovereignty. The statement read, "Nigeria is a multi-religious and democratic nation. Violence here affects both Christians and Muslims alike. We reject any attempt to exploit religions as a political weapon or to threaten our territorial integrity." President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reportedly convened an emergency National Security Council meeting where defense chiefs assured him that Nigeria's armed forces are on high alert. Shortly after the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, was summoned to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for a closed-door meeting, the first diplomatic confrontation of its kind in years. Now, reaction across the world. The threat immediately reverberated across Africa and the global stage. The African Union (AU) issued a statement condemning Trump's comment, warning that any external military actions against a sovereign African state will be considered aggression against the continent. ECOWAS, the West African region bloc, also expressed concern, calling for dialogue and restraint. Nigeria is a pillar of stability in West Africa. Any move that threatens its peace is a threat to the entire region, said ECOWAS chairperson, President Bassirou Faye of Senegal. From Moscow, Russia, Foreign Ministry criticized the U.S. for that it called neo-imperial arrogance, while China reaffirms its support for Nigerian sovereignty and independence. These statements signal a possible geopolitical realignment as Nigeria could move closer to non-Western allies in response to Washington's aggressive rhetoric. Now, the religious angle. Trump's argument rests heavily on claims of Christian persecution in Nigeria, a narrative long popular among certain evangelical groups in the United States. In his speech, Trump accused the Nigerian government of failing to protect Christians from the radical Islamic militia and claimed that hundreds of churches have been destroyed. However, multiple reports from the Amnesty International, the United Nations, and the Nigerian civil society organizations present a more nuanced picture. The violence in central Nigeria, particularly in Plateau, Benue, and Taraba State, often arises from land dispute between herders and mostly Muslims and farmers, mostly Christians, intensified by climate change, poverty, and weak governance. While both Christian and Muslim communities suffered devastating attacks, Trump's framing of the issue so as one-sided persecution has drawn criticism from diplomats, scholars, and even religious leaders. Cardinal John Onaiyekan, a prominent Catholic figure, said, "We appreciate concern of Nigerian Christians, but military threats are not of the solution. What we need is peace building and justice, not bombs." Although Trump is not currently in office, his influence remains strong among US conservatives.